Hey friends, it's Danny from the blog Contentment with Simplicity. If you haven't been here before, welcome. Today I just wanted to briefly kind of fill you in on what we are doing regarding our homeschooling this year. So I have 4 kids. Their ages are 7, almost 5, 2.5, and 9 months, 10 months this week, I think. And so we homeschool the oldest 2, and I just wanted to just give you a quick kind of bird's eye, at a glance overview of what we are doing. It's very similar to what we did last year, and it worked really well for us, so I don't anticipate us making any huge changes, but you never know. So maybe there'll be more updates on this later. So just for reference, I was homeschooled the whole way through. My mom homeschooled me from pre-reading all the way through. And then all the way through until I was 16. And then I started taking classes at our local community college, got my associate's degree there, and then went on to get my bachelor's degree. My background is in English, with an emphasis in secondary education. So I was a teacher for a couple of years before Gabe and I ended up moving to New Zealand and forging a new life here. So we are, super excited about homeschooling our kids. So if you're new to homeschooling, or if you're just considering it, I just want to give you like a real life, real family picture of what this actually looks like. We'll dive right in. So I'm homeschooling, like I said, our oldest, who's 7. This is the 3rd year that we have kind of done official homeschooling with her. She is doing 2nd grade level coursework stuff this year, where we did a very similar thing to this year last year, where she was doing 1st grade coursework. The year before that, what we kind of called kindergarten. Here in New Zealand, they call it year 0. It was very just relaxed, pretty much just like phonic recognition, learning letters, learning basic sounds, simple sounds with the letters, and numeracy. And so it was not hours and hours every day. It was a couple times a week. We'd sit down and do some work together, and it went pretty well. Last year we did a little bit more. This year we're building onto that a little bit. And then with my almost 5-year-old, I would normally not advise or really plan to start preschool or kindergarten level work with young kids. I just think play is so important, imaginative play, self-entertaining. And my almost 5-year-old does get a ton of that, but she is so eager to learn her letters and her sounds and her numbers and how to do all of the things that her big sister is doing. And so we're kind of rolling with it. I'm not anticipating that we might not even finish the book this year. We're going to take it pretty relaxed, but at the moment she's pretty inspired and we're going with it. So I have, I've kind of outlined everything in my planner. And so I just have here down the side the different topics, the different subjects that we're studying and for which kids. So some subjects we do together and some subjects we do individually. So specifically we do some Bible reading, that's together every day. We do science together. Mara and Jem both have their own language arts and their own math, and then we're doing history together. They each have their own handwriting, and then we're doing like some Bible memorization and some hymn awareness, those things we do together. So they have their own individual, I think of it as kind of like the spine, the math and the language arts, and each of them have their own book for that. But for everything else, we're just combining it and approaching it at different levels. So Mara will answer, harder questions, and Jem answers the easier ones. So for our Bible, I went ahead and just got the NLT 1-year Bible. We're not reading the Old Testament. We just do the daily reading of the New Testament. We started this last year. We didn't make it through the whole Bible because we don't do school every single day. And as much as I'd love to say we do Bible reading every day, it doesn't always happen. So we're just continuing on. We did it periodically over the summer and we're just moving on with it. So we do our New Testament reading and then our Psalms and our Proverbs. We also are doing a reading from the Jesus Storybook Bible every day. This is almost more for the benefit of my 2.5-year-old and also Jem, the almost 5-year-old. So we read a lot of the Jesus Storybook Bible as like bedtime stories when our oldest was little, and we just want to make sure that our younger kids are getting the same kind of context and background of the Bible. Particularly, we love this book because it comes from a perspective of Jesus being woven in throughout all of the Bible stories. So that's what we do for our Bible reading. We usually do that over the breakfast table every day, and I don't always eat breakfast at that time. I read while the kids are eating, and I kind of put food into Thad's mouth while we go. So that's for Bible. For science, we are doing Louie Giglio's How Great Is Our God. It's very simple. They're like devotionals. That's the basis of our science this year, but then we're also adding on to that. So usually we'll probably do, this is similar to what we did last year, something will come up that we're interested in, and we'll do some research on it. We'll do a little bit of writing on it. We'll see if we can do a field trip if possible. So for example, right now we're doing a little unit on kiwi fruit because we have a kiwi fruit orchard next door to our house, and my 7-year-old loves to go out and visit with our awesome kiwi fruit orchard farmer neighbor. And so Mara's just been really interested about how they grow, where they come from. So we're using YouTube. We're gonna go pick up some books at the library, read about it, and then we'll synthesize it into kind of a writing assignment summary at some point in the next week or two. So that's kind of the basis of our science. And then, okay, for language arts and for math, we use The Good and the Beautiful, and I really love them. Haven't had anything that I don't like about them so far. So Mara is in level 2 for both The Good and the Beautiful's math and language arts, and Jem is in level K, kindergarten. So we don't always get through a whole lesson every day. I'm usually shooting for about 3 lessons a week, 3 to 4 lessons a week, somewhere in there. Some weeks we get through 4, some weeks we get through 3. And it's open and go. It's so easy. I love it because I can have both kids kind of open at the same time, and I can read the directions on one and get them going, and then read the directions with the other and get them going and bounce back and forth. So that works really well. This is what Jem is working on. She's just working on reading like consonant, vowel, consonant, like 3-letter words. I also love that The Good and Beautiful includes like geography and art appreciation in their language arts course book. So it makes it just really easy. I just consider those are covered. We also are a family that lives on the other side of the world from the rest of our family, and so our kids have quite an awareness of geography just because we've flown back and forth. We talk about where different people are at. They can calculate like time zones probably better than I can sometimes, so they have a very good like awareness of that. Mara is we're on decoding, kind of breaking words down by syllables and rules that she knows. So yeah, that's her language arts. And Mara is a math. She loves math. So the trick is always holding her back in math to not finish the book too fast. I don't actually worry about that too much because if we end up moving ahead at some point in math, who cares? That's the beauty of homeschooling. You can kind of just progress with each child at their level. So that's the kids' math and language. And then for history, this year we are just reading stories about New Zealand history. This is Station Life in New Zealand by Lady Marianne Barker. This is the first book that we're covering. We did a little bit of a unit on the Treaty of Waitangi. We'll probably come back around to that because I want the kids to understand a little bit more about just why New Zealand is special in that way. And so yeah, not super in depth, but we're sort of just starting with what's easy and familiar, and our kids love reading books. And so it's a great way to kind of read aloud. We'll try to incorporate some field trips this year. And just enjoy this is potentially our last year in New Zealand. So we're trying to just kind of soak up and enjoy what we can about New Zealand here. I have a couple like Maori legends and art stuff on hold at the library. So we'll be picking that up later this week. I think we're more than halfway through with this book. So we'll hopefully be finishing this up in the next week or two. And then we'll move into a little bit more of a unit on legends and history of Maori people. So that is our New Zealand history. And then let's see, we do some handwriting. This is also just the good and the beautiful. So I usually figure for Mara, she needs to do 3 pages a week to get through the course in about a year, and about our school year. So she's working on that. Jem also has like the level K handwriting stuff. And again, it's about 3 pages a week. So honestly, they sort of do like a whole bunch of pages at once. They kind of blitz through. I think Mara sat down and did week 1, week 2, and week 3 all in the first week of school. She was very excited about starting school. So yeah, that's what we just kind of, I'm not super stressed about it. They'll figure out beautiful handwriting. I was the kind of kid that learned to like write in different types of handwriting. When I started writing my Star Wars, I wrote like Star Wars fan fiction stories because I was a big Star Wars fan when I was like middle school age. And I feel like I have beautiful handwriting, and you can read it now, and I can write in like a whole bunch of different styles because it was just something that was interesting to me. So we're learning the basics of how to write everything, and as long as they have the basics, that's good. They can go from there. And then let's see, the last thing that we're kind of doing is we're memorizing the Sermon on the Mount this year. So we do 3 verses a week. I just took the whole 3 chapters, broke it up into 3 verses at a time. So we're just memorizing 3 verses per week. I have them printed off in little cards. We usually take a walk every day after breakfast before we settle down to do schoolwork. And that's when we practice our memorization stuff. We do some school subjects over breakfast. So it's actually kind of like that we get like part of the way through the school day before we even sit down to do our actual kind of book work, our workbook work. So we are also reading through, we started this last year, we're just continuing on with it. Usually we do 1 or 2 hymns and the history of those hymns each week. And then I like to turn the hymns on. I have a Spotify playlist with our term 1 hymns already preloaded on it. I like to turn that on when we are doing chores in the morning or cleaning up after school time. We usually do like a household reset cleanup kind of before breakfast. We get all of the bedding and everything. Our kids kind of drag their blankets out, drag their pillows out. So we get all of that put away, and then we do our morning chores. And then before lunchtime, we usually need to do another reset, putting away all the school books, and then oftentimes before dinner. So those are great times that if my computer is open, that I just hit play on the Spotify playlist, and they're kind of getting that music appreciation in the background while we go. So we do a ton of read aloud books. So usually every night before the kids go to bed or in the afternoon, especially if the baby's napping and we kind of need some quiet activities to do, we do lots of reading aloud. Sometimes it has to do with our schoolwork. And so right now I need to probably buckle down and get through the Station Life, the New Zealand history book. But we also just choose novels and stuff. We've recently been listening to the Green Ember series on audiobook. We started on like a road trip, and our whole family got hooked. And so we've been listening to that in the afternoon sometimes, or on our Saturday, kind of our family Sabbath day, we'll turn that on and listen to it. So yeah, lots of literature, lots of reading, lots of conversation. Some things we don't do that much of is we don't do a lot of screen time. Our kids do like PE workout videos on YouTube. A couple days a week we let them choose, they each get to choose a video to do. So usually they're about 10-15 minutes long. And if you didn't get it, if you ran out of time on the previous day that we had last done YouTube videos, then you get to choose first the next time. So we don't always do 3 workout videos every day, but it is kind of a fun way, especially to kind of get everybody up from quiet rest time and get a little bit of energy out while waking people up and giving them something that they're excited to wake up from a nap from. So yeah, and that's about it. We really just enjoy being together as a family, letting the kids play. They play with a lot of open-ended toys, especially in the afternoon, because we're usually done with our schoolwork by about lunchtime. And that is how our family does our homeschooling. So if this has been helpful for you, let me know in the comments below. If you like this content or you'd be interested in other information about homeschooling and what we do, I would be delighted to see if there's other videos that I could make that would answer questions and just be a help, be a service to you. So let me know in the comments below. Thanks for hanging out with me. Have a good day.